Welcome back to the show. This could be Animal Kingdom's theme song. All I Do Is Win. What a performance off a 9-month layoff. Just huge in the Breeders' Cup Mile, coming up just short to Wise Dan. Joining us on the phone right now, CEO of Team Valor, Barry Irwin, as Animal Kingdom gears up for a trip to Dubai, and we'll tackle competition in the Gulfstream Park Handicap. Barry, thank you for coming on. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Fabulous. Oh, fabulous. Yeah, we're looking so forward to seeing, as I'm sure his legion of fans are as well, Animal Kingdom make his return, and likely going to be, right, his final start in the U.S.
Yeah, I think it definitely is.
And he'll be at Gulfstream this Saturday,
Yep.
mile and an eighth, Gulfstream Turf Handicap. You know, there's so many things about Animal Kingdom that I really admire. Turf, synthetic, dirt, mile, mile and eighth, mile and a quarter. What's his best surface? What's his best distance? He seems to be great at so many different surfaces, so many different distances.
I wish I knew the answer to that. I had a couple of interviews this week, and people asked me why we kept going on with the horse. Why didn't we sell him every time he got hurt or when he ran well? And my answer is that we still haven't seen what this horse can do, and the guys that own this horse are pretty game, and we don't know the answer to those questions ourselves. I mean, if I had a gun to my head, not an assault rifle, just a regular gun, I would say that he's probably best on turf, and I'd say his best distance is his distance that he'll be running this weekend, a mile and an eighth. But he obviously showed he can run a mile, and I think in the Belmont, even though he had a weird trip, he looked like a mile and a half wouldn't bother him either.
We want to get to the Breeders' Cup Mile in a little bit coming up. Obviously amazing what he did, but let's start with the aftermath. Since that time, he got about 6 easy weeks before he sort of went back into training. So with that having been how he's progressed, what would you say, what do you expect, and what do you want out of this start coming up in this prep for Dubai?
What I want and what my trainer wants are two different things. He wants to win. He's a competitive guy. He wants to see that horse win. He keeps saying it's the best horse he's ever had, the best horse he's ever going to have. I'm of a different position. I want to see the horse run a nice race, and I want to see him still need something going forward. We've run a few horses in the Dubai World Cup, which his next start is. It's a $10 million race. It's something we've been trying to run him in for the last 2 years. And I know that if you run too big in the prep race, you fall flat in the big race. And if this horse got beat, I'm probably going to be the only one of the owners who's not going to be sad about it. The horse, he hasn't hammered this horse in the morning. Everything he's done has been in hand. He's had teamwork just to keep his interest up. He could not be training any better. He's sound. He's doing great. We're really looking forward to it.
Talk about the spacing here, because Graham is quoted as saying a couple of weeks ago that he's ready to roll today. You have to wait a couple more weeks. Now we're finally almost at that day, February 9th, and in the World Cup being March 30th in Dubai. Your thoughts on the spacing? Good? Is that an issue at all?
The spacing for us is good because it gives us a little bit of insurance. If he does run big, at least we've got that much time to give him a chance to recover. I expect he's going to run great. I don't expect him to run as well as he did in the Breeders' Cup, because in that race, I mean, we had him honed, you know. I mean, he trained him to the nth degree. This race, he's trained good enough to win. I don't think he'll get beat, but I don't think we're going to see that same kind of effort. He could do it, but we don't want to see it, if you know what I mean.
You're tackling some good ones, too, for this comeback performance, and I see where you're going with. You don't necessarily, in your opinion, have to see a victory, because you want to be there at your prime and best for that $10 million race, because you're facing a horse like Point of Entry, who was second to the Breeders' Cup Turf, Unbridled Command, who reeled off 5 in a row at the end of last year. So this is not this is by no means a cupcake kind of prep leading up to the Dubai World Cup. I mean, this very much could be the key target for a lot of horses.
Oh, I know. I mean, other than Wise Dan, the top horses are in it. I know that one interesting thing is Tom Bush, who trains Unbridled Command. he hasn't missed an Animal Kingdom work yet. Every time Animal Kingdom works, he's up there scoping them out. Point of entry, I see that Shug blew him out a half in 47-2, which is really smoking at Payson Park. So, I mean, those two horses are ready to roll. That Unbridled Command, I saw him work 7/8 and 124-1. He is ready. He's probably got a fitness edge over the other two horses because they both ran in the Breeders' Cup, and this horse has run sooner than that. He ran in the Hollywood Derby. So it's going to be a real race. There's no doubt about it.
So you guys are all watching each other. So you're watching Unbridled Command's works. They're watching your works.
Exactly.
See, in the NFL, that would be illegal, but in horse racing, it's fine. You can watch the works of the other people. You're going to have a rider switch here. There's been a lot of changes. It was John Velasquez. Of course, he was aboard Wise Dan, so he went to Bejarano. Then Dominguez, but he is injured. So now it's Joel Rosario aboard for the first time. What went into that decision to put Rosario aboard?
Well, Dominguez got hurt, so we needed another rider. We think Rosario is riding the best of the local riders here. He's a world-class rider. He's young. He's smart. He's strong. And he just seemed like the natural choice for us. Velasquez, we thought he was going to ride our horse. You would think because the horse won the Derby and he was on him, he'd want to ride him. But I know that Angel Cordero gives first call on everything to Shug, and that even went back to the days when Pletcher was riding him. If Shug wanted him, he got him. Why that is, I don't know, but that's the story. So that's all I can tell you.
In terms of his running style for this race this Saturday, obviously at a mile when there's ridiculous fractions, Animal Kingdom's going to be further back. 9 furlongs, different story. Where do you envision him settling? Kind of mid-pack in this race or even closer than that?
I think it all depends on what Unbridled Command does. He's a former front runner that came from off the pace in the Hollywood Derby.
Right.
Animal Kingdom doesn't necessarily bust out of the gate in any of his races. So I think he's capable of pressing the pace, running in the middle, or coming from dead last. And I can't predict how this race is going to go, but I can tell you this. When he was a 3-year-old and he won the Derby, he won the Derby by using his power. When he ran in the Breeders' Cup and showed that turn of foot, we had never seen that before. That was a new feature, and we've seen it twice in his training here. So here's a horse that's got a very high cruising speed that can run 1.5 miles, yet he can give you a kick on a dime. Not too many horses.
Good combination.
Can do that. So, yeah, I don't think the pace itself is going to be any problem with this horse. He's had fast works. He's had slow works. The bottom line is when they press the button, it's awesome. That's all I can say.
The plan that we have heard is obviously Dubai World Cup, maybe a start at Royal Ascot, and then off to stud in Australia, likely in September. Is there going to be, for you, a sense, especially if he runs lights out in Dubai, a case where you feel a sense of unfinished business with the Breeders' Cup and not having him have that chance?
Yeah, but, I mean, we've already run him longer than most Kentucky Derby winners. We've had every chance to retire him, and we haven't done it. Will we feel like there is some unfinished business? I hope so, But I think that if he actually gets to Dubai and gets to Ascot and runs well, we'll feel very satisfied.
Barry, best of luck. It's been an incredible run with this horse, and we're looking forward to the last few starts.
Thanks for coming on, Barry.
Okay, take it easy.
Barry Irwin, CEO of Team Valor, Animal Kingdom, winning off that 9-month layout, or running second, I should say, to Wise Dan. Let's hang up. That Breeders' Cup mile. Last U.S. start coming up, Dubai, maybe Royal Ascot, and then off to stud. So we're going to see the last of them coming up in these next few months.